You know, when you think about it, from overthrowing foreign leaders to deploying drones and data mining algorithms, the Central Intelligence Agency really is America's ultimate and most secretive lever of power. So in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain and uncover the story of how it got to be that way.
I mean, think about it. This is an agency that runs on a black budget. It launders its power through shell companies and offshore accounts, and most of what it does happens completely outside of the public eye.
So how on earth did this happen? How did a peacetime intelligence service, one that was created just to prevent another Pearl Harbor, morph into this global shadow army? Well, that's the big question we're going to unpack right now.
Okay, so our story starts right after World War II. Europe is just in ruins, the Soviet Red Army is sitting on half the continent, and back in Washington, they're basically flying blind. They have almost no idea what Stalin is planning next.
At first, President Truman disbanded America's wartime spy agency, the OSS. He thought, hey, the war's over. But he pretty quickly realized that was a huge mistake. See, America was winning wars with industrial might, not with intelligence. So within just 2 years, he completely reversed course and signed the National Security Act, officially creating the CIA.
Now, this is where it gets really, really interesting. Look at the wording here. The agency's founding charter was deliberately vague. This one little phrase, such other functions, well, that basically became a blank check. It gave the CIA incredible flexibility and a whole lot of power, right from day one.
And of course, power needs money, lots of it. So the agency got its first major black budget, funding that was completely off the books, by secretly diverting 5% of the Marshall Plan. Yeah, the money meant to rebuild Europe. This gave them almost $700 million for bribes, for propaganda, and for the beginning of all their covert operations.
So, the CIA has money, and it has a mission. But let's be honest, in those early days, it was a total rookie going up against the absolute gold standard of espionage, the Soviet KGB. And it was not going well.
Their first attempts at human operations were a complete disaster. One internal report even called the agency fatally penetrated by Soviet moles. So the CIA pivoted. It stopped trying to beat the KGB at their own game and instead leaned into what America did best: technology. The U-2 spy plane, for instance, could fly higher than any Soviet missile, giving the CIA these untouchable eyes in the sky.
But before technology could really take over, the agency desperately needed a win. And they got it in Iran, back in 1953. In an operation called Ajax, the CIA orchestrated a coup, toppling a democratically elected leader, all to protect Western oil interests and stop any potential Soviet influence. A single officer with a suitcase full of cash proved that bribery and propaganda could literally reshape a nation. It was seen as a textbook success, and boy did it set a dangerous precedent.
That success in Iran, well, it emboldened the agency, and it led to decades of operations that stretched its mandate right to the breaking point and, in a lot of cases, went disastrously, horribly wrong.
I mean, this period really shows a disturbing pattern, doesn't it? You've got the humiliating failure of the Bay of Pigs invasion in Cuba. Then there's the overthrow of a democratic government in Chile, and the totally unethical MKUltra mind control experiments on unwitting American citizens. Not to mention the illegal arms for hostages deal that we now know as the Iran-Contra affair. Time and time again, the agency's unchecked power just led to these disastrous and deeply controversial outcomes.
Then, in 1991, the world completely changed. The Soviet Union collapsed, and the CIA's main adversary just vanished. It left the agency without a clear mission. That is, until a single morning in 2001 redefined everything.
For about a decade, the CIA just kind of drifted. Its funding shrank, overseas stations were closing down, and Washington was celebrating this peace dividend. The agency that was built from the ground up to fight the Cold War suddenly found itself without its arch-nemesis.
And then came September 11th. In just a matter of hours, al-Qaeda's attacks on New York and Washington didn't just shock the nation. They gave the CIA a brand new, absolute reason to exist.
So, this is the crucial point. The mission changed overnight. The enemy wasn't a state anymore, but a global network of terrorists. And just like that, the CIA's budget and power absolutely exploded as it was unleashed to hunt this new enemy anywhere and everywhere on Earth.
But here's the thing. This new era began with a catastrophic failure. The agency's confident and completely wrong,
intelligence report that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction led the U.S. into a long, costly war. And this colossal failure of human intelligence would only accelerate the agency's shift toward a whole different kind of warfare.
So, to fight this new, decentralized enemy, the CIA needed a new kind of arsenal. Its power wouldn't be defined by spies on the ground anymore, but by drones in the sky and data in the cloud.
The armed drone was absolutely revolutionary. It meant a pilot sitting in a chair in Nevada could watch, track, and kill a target in Pakistan. It was the perfect weapon for a war without borders, a so-called clean assassination tool that became the agency's signature weapon in the war on terror.
Just as important was a company the CIA invested in very early on, Palantir. Its software could take these massive, disconnected piles of data and find hidden patterns. This totally changed the game from just reacting to threats to actually anticipating them, making connections that no human analyst could ever see alone.
So here we are today. The war on terror is fading, and the agency is pivoting once again. The new focus is all about great power competition, and specifically with China, a rival that, in many ways, has already surpassed the U.S. in key technologies like AI surveillance. Which really leaves us with a critical question for the future. From that vague little phrase in 1947 to a global network of drones and data mining algorithms today, the CIA's power has grown in ways its founders could never, ever have imagined. So in this new era, we really have to ask ourselves, what is the ultimate price of security?